We got two very talented tailbacks that are going to be back in the mix too. I know that's going to be the next conversation, once we get rolling. But these are all good things. We'd rather, have these players that deserve and are very capable of playing. And we've said it all along here that no matter what it is, whether it's on special teams or defense, if you deserve a role, we'll find a role for you. And what that looks like, we got to do a good job with, and especially when it comes down to the quarterbacks and being able to create the rhythm. We've certainly improved, again, our efficiency in certain passing down situations since we've been using the two quarterbacks. Now we have to have a better consistency and find our balance within that.
I know you addressed this last week, but do you still plan on starting Taylor?
Yeah.
Since you brought him up twice, should we take that to mean George is going to be ready this week? Or I know you don't talk about injuries, but
George, it was very awesome to see George out there at practice yesterday. So.
Weeks ago, he said you guys had a lot planned for two backs in the backfield. In terms of the offense, getting George and Ashton out there together a lot, and that obviously hasn't been able to happen because of the injury. How has that changed? I guess what you guys on the fly offensively, how much you planned to play both those guys together in the last month or so? How has that changed things? I guess not being able to do that, and what does that open up again if he is back Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, there's again having the majority of our tailbacks back now. And having our offensive line back, bless you, it allows us to be able to get back to some of the things that we worked on in fall camp, which is obviously very exciting. Again, we'll have a huge challenge with this being, arguably the best defense, one of them that we've played against, this season. So it provides us the opportunity to get different ball carriers. Some action to get the ball in their hands. And again, that's part of creating the rhythm within the offense. Again, Austin Bolt's been making steady progress to be able to make his return, which is very exciting for him. It has not been an easy road back to him getting back on the field. Just super proud of him. It's been pretty cool to see what he's done the last couple weeks behind the scenes. And so, yeah, we had a good bye week. It was fun. It was fun seeing those guys operate together.
So many great on a couple of the mid-season All-American teams, like we're talking the entire country. What has he done to impress you the most this year at this start?
Well, I mean, there's been weeks where we had one, maybe two tailbacks where we've had to move guys' positions, and he's really been able to carry the load and within the run game. And obviously there's a lot of guys blocking for him that have done a really good job. Our tight end group has really grown and improved. That's a group that we don't talk about all the time, but when you go back and watch the film, these guys have done a really tremendous job, as well as obviously the offensive line. And we've been 8-9 deep into the offensive line this season. So the recruiting and the development is there. And now to, be able to see a guy like Ashton, who is only in his second year here, be able to do what he's been capable of. And it's, again, it's not just what he's done out of the backfield, but he's been able to get the ball. Bush has got the ball to him in different ways than just handing it off to him as well.
You produce so many great running backs here. Madison, Ajay, Doug Martin. When you see the way that Ashton runs the ball in this season he's having, does he remind you of any of those guys? Is there one that in particular he reminds you of?
Well, I would say that, like, Ashton has the flexibility to do a bunch of different things, as we were just talking about. He is a guy that played slot wide receiver, in high school. In his junior year. So the flexibility for him to do multiple things, aside from be a very effective and efficient and explosive ball carrier out of the backfield, we were able to get him the ball other ways, which, obviously as a defensive coach, that creates issues. And now being able to have multiple guys on the field that have that type of explosiveness is going to be fun.
Get those halfbacks back, being able to give Ashton a breather every once in a while. How much better can he be, kind of when he does get those spells?
Yeah, I mean, that's through the course of the season. In any season, you want to have two guys, if not three. We came in, into fall camp. That was probably our deepest position, and it got stretched pretty thin, pretty quick. And so, again, it's going to be nice to be able to have those guys back. It is a long season. We're coming off the bye week. It was nice to see that everybody, on Sunday when we practice, the guys were fresh, mentally, physically. They were flying around. They were communicating. They were operating. It was awesome to see. And so, that is part of the balance and again, the rhythm when you have multiple personnels, whether, it's in the backfield, it's out wide receiver, and making sure we're doing a diligent job with how we create a plan in relation to what we're getting from a particular defense or offense, and being able to use our personnel as efficient as we can.
The Mountain West standings, I know you're not where you want to be, but you look at who you still have to play and where you sit. I mean, you pretty much control your own destiny. I mean, you still can do your goals and get to the championship, win it, whatever. I mean, is that an easy way to keep guys motivated at this point, that is, you still have a lot to play for?
Yeah, I mean, we just said every the majority of the championship games have involved teams that have had at least one loss in this conference. Extremely competitive. There's a lot of good coaches in this conference. Obviously, a lot of good players. And, where we sit right now, we, 1 week at a time, we just need to focus on being 1-0 and really the prep that goes into what that's going to take, because we do play some really good teams down the stretch.
Getting back to your run game, Andy, the amount of different rotations or lineups you used on the offensive line, I mean, it's pretty notable. Regardless of who was in there, why have you guys been able to run the ball so effectively? I mean, you look at a lot of those holes against Colorado State or San Diego State, and Ashton's able to get up to the second level, and it's pretty much game over after that. But why is the line, regardless of who's been in there, been able to be so effective?
Again, we've said it all along for the last couple of years. There's been a premium on recruiting the fronts and trying to work to build depth. That's where football starts, right? It starts at the line of scrimmage, whether we're talking about protecting the quarterback, whether we're talking about the run game. You've got to be able to get after the quarterback and create pressure as a defense. You've got to be able to stop the run. And so we have put a high premium on recruiting the fronts, especially the offensive line. We've been able to develop guys, and fortunately enough, a lot of guys have stepped up and played. And to be honest with you, played really well. We started the season with 2 freshmen playing on the offensive line, and those guys have done well. Those guys have done really well. And it's awesome to see how they continue to learn and grow throughout the course of the season. And that's just one position we got to continue on. Like we talked about, the tight ends have developed over the course of the season and done well. Breezy's jumped in there and got some action, and he's continued to grow. And so it's not just that offensive line position, but it's, again, the other positions on our team that we're excited for that to show up down the stretch here. We've played 7 games. We all know what it's been. It's about how we move forward now and how we attack every single opportunity we have. We're not the same freshmen. We're not the same sophomores. We're not the same seniors that we started the season as. We're not the same coaches. We understand. We know exactly who our team is. We know exactly what we need to do. And again, the Mountain West is not easy week in and week out. You face a bunch of different schemes, but we have the opportunity to compete. The goal is still right in front of us to compete for a Mountain West Conference championship. And as we all know, as you go down the stretch, it is like the playoffs. I mean, each and every week you get a matchup, and a lot of these teams are sitting, in position to play for the conference.
How much do you look at the touches that Ashton is getting, and are you comfortable with those numbers, or with some help coming as in George? Do you feel like in the second half of the season you have to taper that down a little bit?
Yeah, he's had a lot of touches because we've been light at times. So, again, with the ideal situations, we always have 2 tailbacks. That's, if not 3, with developing a 4th. Again, that's what we want to have game in and game out throughout the course of the year, because it is a long season, and that's a very physical position. That tailback position, there's a lot of impact. So to be able to disperse some of the carries, and there's still different ways to get both guys the ball. There's still different ways to get other guys the ball. That's the fun part about it now. Now again, each and every week it comes down to what does the defense present, and now we have guys that are coming off the IR that are going to be available, and we being able to put a plan together based off of what a particular defense is going to try to take away and what they're going to give, because each and every week that's what it's about. So it's not going to look the same every single week, and that's a big part of football, especially in this conference, right? We play a lot of different defensive structures. It's about every defensive structure you can see in college football in this conference. There's about every single offensive structure you can see in this conference. And that's what makes it, challenging year in and year out, is being equipped to face those different structures.
What do you see in Wyoming's offense?
Well, I mean, that's consistent year in and year out. You're going to get a physical offense, the line of scrimmage, the tight ends, the tailbacks. I believe they pride themselves in many of the same things, we do as being physical at the line of scrimmage. And so they've done a really good job running the ball. Their tight end group is really good. They do a great job blocking, and they are featured in the pass game as well. They got length, they can run. You see the ball, you see them being targeted a lot in the pass game. You see an offense that is efficient in the red zone and an offense that takes care of the football.
Quarterbacks, Peely and Sabota, what do you see the difference between them? And with your defense being able to see two quarterbacks in practice, how does that kind of prepare them to be on alert like that?
Right. So, ultimately, the mentality of this offense we're about to face is very consistent, and they've used two quarterbacks. It's pretty consistent throughout. I mean, they're going to run the ball. They want to run the ball, and they're going to use play action passes, pocket movements, off the run looks. They do a good job of getting the ball out quick within their quick pass game that they will use up and down the field. They've been efficient in the red zone, as an offense, and they've taken care of the ball, and that's what both quarterbacks have done.
Andy, how else does George help this offense, this program, this team on a game day if he's out there? Not just when it comes to carrying the ball, having the guy out there who's played that much ball.
I mean, George, even while George has been away, George has been an instrumental leader as we've worked through. He's been a huge part of working out, with the developmental group. And the extra workouts they get, being that they don't play on the weekends, and George has been a guy that has really helped that group grow and thrive because of how he competes in the weight room, how he sets the temperature in there and how he works. That's who George is. George is an unbelievable human being, and it's exciting to see that he was able to get back out on the field on Sunday. And so not only from his production and what he's done here as a football player, but who he is, obviously, as a person and a leader.
Punt returner. Did he volunteer for that role, or did you guys as coaches ask him to do that?
George will take the ball however he can get it. I mean, George would. It's always more about probably pulling back and saying no to George than what it is. But George, again, has done that for us for more than a few years now. And, as we work him back in, that will be something that we can see if we can't get him back out there at some point.
High-impact position. How do you balance his importance to the offense versus risking him at punt return?
Yeah, we get that question asked all the time. Shaq did it for us. Avery did it for us. I'm not sure. The running back position's a high-impact position. And so, ultimately, this game is about getting the best ball carriers the ball as much as possible, and that's a potential situation to get a ball carrier who's been pretty good in the open field, the ball in a lot of open space.
You talked a little bit about the response of the players, but what is their accountability like right now? Who's the loudest voice, in the locker room, or the lead by example guy for you right now as you guys have gotten off to this start?
We throughout the course of the bye week, there was a lot of people. I mean, both captains are, they're very vocal. I'll be honest with you, yesterday it was awesome to see how loud it was in the indoor. I mean, it was loud in there, and it was guys working, it was guys communicating, it was guys working together, it was guys pushing the tempo, guys setting the tone. You got guys like Tubes being back and being healthy. You got guys that are starting to emerge and play consistently. Like, we need JC to be that guy, and to be able in the secondary to be that guy that carries a level of consistency for himself and what he's capable of doing, which he has shown in the last couple games, and now how we bring that, and we bring that vibe, right? And then offensively, the O-line is definitely a big part of our team. Both the quarterbacks are obviously the vocal leaders of the Commanders on the field, and then naturally we just having guys in the backfield that even at practice can spark the energy at practice by the way they run the ball, by certain things they do. So it's, for us, is a team that is maturing and growing. It is actually awesome to see some of these guys step up. A guy like, Matt Lauder, who has had a tremendous year and showed a lot of growth, be able to find his confidence and the vibe and the maturity and the confidence that he brings to the practice field because of what he's been able to do.
With, I don't know, I'd probably describe it as a rough first few games. I don't know if you would call it his best game, but what do you think of how he played against Colorado State?
Yeah, he really jumped in, and again, we had some things happen there late in the game. He didn't play corner. He wasn't practicing this with the packages that we had up. He was not playing corner, and he jumped in there and did a good job, which we'll continue to need him to do. He has played corner for us. He played a lot of corner for us last year and was very effective. He's played a little bit of nickel for us this year too. He does have the football IQ to play multiple positions, knowing that coming into this season and knowing that we were going to need him to be able to play multiple positions. Now it's really time to hone in, regardless of what position. The techniques, the fundamentals, pretty similar. And we're excited for Nohi to build off of that and to have, a strong second half of the season. Again, you talk about a tremendous young man who is very smart and who cares. I'm very excited for him.
Andy, you said first time all year the whole offensive line is available. How competitive is that group going to be this week for starting spots? And might we see the Mason Randolph center, Garrett Curran back at guard thing now that everything's on the table?
Yeah. That's what we want at every position, right? That competition level because of the depth. And that's just, again, that's one example of where we've been able to recruit and develop it at that position. And as we continue to build forward, having that at every position, and we've had a lot of guys that have been able to step up. We talked about, the two freshman offensive linemen that have played. We've talked about Ethan, who stepped in there as a transfer and really played three positions, including guard, tackle, and tight end for us at times. That's what it's about right there. And as we go down the stretch here, I think that group is a perfect example of what embodies what it is to do whatever the team needs to be successful. And that group has done that. We've had guys switch positions. Garrett switched from playing guard 2 weeks into fall camp from playing guard to playing center. And just shows you the selflessness and a guy who is a veteran around here and who day in and day out wants to do whatever he can to have an impact on the success of this team.
He's been another guy who's been kind of hampered by injuries, but you got him involved in the past game a little bit the last couple games, a touchdown against San Jose State. How nice has it been to just kind of have him back and have him be, producing for you guys?
Yeah, no question. He's very capable, in the pass game. It's and to be honest with you, really, again, the tight end group as a whole has grown in the run game and the pass game, but especially, Riley can be a matchup, in certain coverage situations where it can become difficult on defenses. So being able to have, a little bit more depth at the tight end position where you got two guys that are capable of doing things that we've seen here in the last couple of weeks, we got to continue to build on that. We got to continue to build on the different ways where we can push the ball down the field or we can take the easy, quick throws.
I talk to people in Matt Lauder's life. They say he's kind of a fun-loving kid, kind of a locker room prankster. Have you seen that out of him here?
Oh, without a doubt. Matt, that's the cool part about Matt. Matt's got that vibe where around the facility and all that, he's fun-loving. You better be on your toes. You never know what's coming. But when it's time to play football, it's time to play football. When he steps on the field, whether it's on his special team responsibilities or his offensive responsibilities, it's time to play football. And that's really cool to see a young man be able to have fun in the space and enjoy being a part of this program and the opportunity to play college football, and have a big heart and joke with the guys. You better be on your toes around Matt. But when it's time to play ball, it's awesome to see what he's done this year and how he's grown. We're looking forward to seeing more guys understand, that maturity and what that process looks like to be successful on the field.
A funny prank this year? Have you seen him do something in the locker room that's kind of memorable?
No.
That hit that Alexander had in that game, how hard is it to, within the framework of the rules today, get a hit like that?
I'm talking about the run play. There was a few of them.
The one where Colin Nicosi rolled out to his right and kind of threw back over to his, I think it was his tight end, and Alexander came up, and I mean, he looked him pretty good there.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, there's certain rules in place to make sure that this game is played in a manner that the student athletes obviously can play and keep their offense, stay on the field. This game has become extremely explosive and violent, given by the nature of the year-round training and the resources that programs have now. I mean, there's week in and week out, there's always a few of those hits that are pretty violent, pretty explosive. We're playing a physical team this week too, and this team prides itself on being physical year in and year out.
Bolt, being back in practice. What potentially, I mean, he's obviously dealt with a lot of injuries and things the last couple of years, but what potentially could he bring to the offense if he's able to get out on the field?
Yeah, I mean, it's really being able to get him in position. There's a return to play protocol that we got to make sure that we handle for his health, and we're moving along with that. But being able to have a guy that's another guy at the wide receiver position that is 6'4", 220, and that can run. And, we obviously got to get him back in the mix and make sure that he's comfortable and squared away with the opportunities he could have. He's not ready to play a full game by any means, but being able to introduce him back in, on special teams, get him a few plays on offense and get him going and do it right by him.
Just with the bye week, Andy, is there anything you encourage your players outside of football?
Say it again, sorry.
With your players during the bye week, outside of football, is there anything that you encourage your players just to go do that maybe helps them hit the reset button? Because you guys have been going at it pretty much every day since the beginning of August.
Right. No, it's that's a huge part of the bye week too. And to be honest with you, for the coaches too, right? But we were able to have a few team events last week in the afternoons when we normally have meetings. Be able to spend time with each other away from the facility, have a barbecue here at the facility, be able to have a few days off after, having some really good practices at the end of the week. That's always huge, to be able to get away, get a breath of fresh air. A lot of them did a lot of things to get fresh, literally, like get some haircuts, shave their faces, and get cleaned up. You guys will see when you see them tomorrow at practice, there's some similar guys with some new looks. So
Bill Bones' new look there.
that's what I'm gonna say. He's not the only one. There's a few guys that did something with themselves over the bye week. They look handsome now. So obviously looking forward to getting back out there with them on the field tomorrow and running around. Thank you guys. Go Broncos.